Hey guys, it's Bassima. I'm a remote work and productivity coach. I like to focus on content that especially surrounds multi-passionates that have most likely always followed the traditional path and now want to transition into remote work. This can look like a variety of things. It can be freelancing, entrepreneurship, working for remote companies, but you just no longer want to be on the traditional path that you've been following for a while because it hasn't given you fulfillment up until this point. So in today's video, I especially want to hone in on something that's near and dear to my heart, which is why I don't believe in choosing a niche when you're multi-passionate, especially at the beginning. So I want to share with you why I really believe that it's counterproductive and what you can choose to do and believe instead of the more common pick one thing, choose a niche path that oftentimes can get us stuck when we're multi-passionate. I want to share with you a little backstory about me. I did an engineering degree, which I actually really loved. And then I continued on in corporate because I saw that as the path of least judgment, like many of us do. And I realized pretty quickly that I really didn't enjoy the lifestyle that came with the corporate life. And I know that this is not something different or unique, but especially as a multi-passionate, it can feel very suffocating to feel like you're dedicating most of your time and energy to only one thing, and you have all these ideas and you have all these different interests that you want to explore, and you just feel like you don't have the time and energy to start exploring all these different things outside of your full-time job. So that's what it was like for me at the surface level, me believing that I had all these interests and it was because of my corporate job that I wasn't pursuing any of them. I was lacking time and I was lacking energy. But the actual deeper rooted reason behind all of this was that I was consuming a lot of information at the time, and a lot of this information that I was consuming was telling me you have to choose a niche, you have to pick one interest, even if it's temporary, you have to start with choosing one thing. And I was the type of person that always deemed myself pretty productive. I didn't like to waste time, and I just didn't know where to start. I felt like most of my interests were pretty equivalent in how interested I was in them, and I just didn't feel ready to choose one niche, invest all my time and energy in that, and only pursue one thing moving forward. But that's all I heard. Any coach, mentor, consultant that I was reading or listening to, this was the piece of advice that they were giving. And the reason that I believe this is so counterproductive when you're a multi-passionate is because it stops you from exploring. It actually makes you more stuck because you stay in this phase where you're like, I don't know what it is that I want to choose. I have all these different interests. And instead of taking action, you're just consuming information, and you end up not moving. So not taking action on any of the things that you potentially would want to explore. So the perspective that I want to offer you for today is to start having fun with being multi-passionate, and especially to take that beginning phase of exploring your different interests with a lot of curiosity, a lot of excitement, because there are a couple of benefits here that we tend to forget about when we're in that stuck phase of feeling like we have to choose a niche, we have to pick one specific thing and do it right away. So when you're exploring things with that mindset of curiosity and getting excited about testing out your different interests, you end up developing some of these skills that before you didn't have, and you start getting insights as to what is it that you actually want to monetize when it comes to remote work, and what are your interests that you want to keep as hobbies. So getting this data is super helpful when you're multi-passionate, because before that it's so easy to feel overwhelmed and feel like anything that anyone suggests to you could be of interest to you, and just to consistently be consuming what's out there and never taking action on it. So I highly encourage the exploration process, especially at the beginning, because I know how much that held me back, and I was consistently comparing myself to others who started freelancing or remote work around the same time as me, and I realized it was because I just had so many different interests and I just wasn't ready to choose one, and that was completely okay. I just had to approach this new phase that I wanted to enter with a mindset of curiosity and exploration, instead of putting a lot of pressure on myself and stressing myself out from the get-go and just getting really anxious and then never actually taking any steps in that direction. What would it look like for you if you didn't have to choose a niche and you just got to explore? Because at the end of the day, it's just a shift in mindset. One is having you feel like you have to do something. There's only one way way of you potentially starting a business or entering freelancing. And the other one is really acknowledging that this is a choice. You get to not choose a niche right away and to start the exploration process. So what I encourage you to do is start with listing 1 to 3 things that you're currently interested in and start testing the waters. Just getting yourself moving and testing without the pressure of you having to choose one specific thing right now. All you want to focus on right now is on what is it that you enjoy, what is it that you want to continue developing your skill set in. Really approaching it with this curious mindset can really be helpful and shift you out of feeling so stuck as a multi-passionate wanting to transition into remote work. One thing that I ended up discovering in my freelancing journey is that I enjoyed doing productivity, but I more so enjoyed productivity when it was combined with remote work. So I would never have known that if I wasn't testing out general life coaching and then testing out productivity coaching. If I wasn't doing all this exploration process, I never would have known what is it that I actually wanted to do in the realms of remote work and monetization. And I also ended up teaching English as a second language online. I realized that I really do enjoy teaching. So it can be teaching in a variety of subjects, but teaching is something that I'd love to continue doing within remote work. I didn't get all of this insight by only picking one thing and running with it for a very long time. I got it through testing the waters, looking at what is it that I'm potentially interested in, and then choosing 1 to 3 things and just starting there. You just want to get moving. You want to start gaining that momentum. Just really start gathering data as to what is it that you're interested in and want to start monetizing when it comes to remote work, and what is it that you want to keep as a hobby. I'd love to hear down below in the comment section what your thoughts are on choosing a niche as a multi-passionate, especially if you want to transition into remote work. And I'd also love to hear what are the 1 to 3 interests that you want to start exploring. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful. If you did, hit that subscribe button down below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a happy, healthy, and productive week.